Just EA. Get your shit together.
That should be the slogan for them.
Yeah. Anyway.
Did I tell you about the woman at work who's got an allergy?
No.
Okay.
This sounds like the start of a bad joke.
No. This is actually true. So she comes in and she's a proper scouser. So she will literally tell you everything and anything about her life.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk into the staff room and she just goes to me, "If you see me on the floor having a fit, stab me with this," and like holds up an EpiPen. And she's like, "You want to get it right in the leg," and like pretends to do it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so what are you allergic to? And so she goes, like, she doesn't tell me. She has to tell me the whole story of how she became allergic to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So she's telling me she's on holiday with her husband and her son. And her son's quite a picky eater. So they went to a restaurant. She's like, "Oh, don't order me anything because my son, whatever he orders, he's not going to eat." And so she doesn't order. Her son starts eating his food and then like, "No, I don't want it," picky eater. Okay. So she just starts eating this. And then after she's eating it, her face starts swelling up. She like starts swelling up. It's like a balloon face. And then it like moves down her body and how she's like, whole thing's just swelling up. And her legs are like swelling up to the size of like elephant legs.
Nice.
And so I'm like, well, what is your allergy? Yeah. And she's like, "I'm allergic to frozen sausages."
Right? Why?
I don't know why it's only frozen sausages.
I don't know what would change.
So she can eat normal sausages, but she can't eat frozen ones. And so she goes day to day not really knowing why she's allergic to frozen sausages. Like,
has she seen anyone about this?
Well, she's obviously been to the doctor to get an EpiPen.
Well,
but, yeah.
I hope you'd met her prior to...
Well, this is like the second time I've met her.
So she just walked straight up to you?
Oh, God.
"Hi, mate."
Yeah, share
Stab me in the leg?
Yeah, so how are we going to start with? How did you get into gaming? What was your first?
Do you want to go first?
I am a bit older, so shall I go first?
Let's go with that then.
Yeah, I think my first ever real introduction was probably the Game Boy Color.
Mm-hmm.
I never had the original Game Boy, the big grey one. Mine was a yellow one for Pikachu, the yellow Pikachu one that my dad brought back from America. So I had, I think I had the American version of Pokemon Yellow.
Snazzy.
It was kind of like my first introduction into kind of the gaming world. And then on the computer, I think I first got into it. Do you know the website Miniclip?
I do. I know it well.
Yeah, that was around that time. I was just like finding games everywhere.
Yeah.
And then someone introduced me to Miniclip, and I just probably played that for hours and hours on end.
That used to be the staple in school before it got banned.
Oh yeah.
And then you had to find little workarounds.
Yeah,
you can still get to it.
Did you ever play slime soccer, slug soccer?
Yeah, that rings a bell.
You played like basically like a semicircle.
Yes.
And you were basically a slug, and you were trying to score goals against other people.
I can vaguely picture that, but I can't really remember how it worked. You could change to colours of flags and stuff.
Yeah. And it was like you were in school, and it's like the best thing ever because you could play a game in school.
Yeah.
But it was actually terrible.
Yeah.
Like looking back, I think it's
there was a tank one as well. It was called shootytanks.com.
Oh, is this where it's like you're on hills and you're kind of shooting at each other?
No, it was like bird's eye view. You're in like a little maze, and you could either have two of you against each other, or you could have like computer controlled ones as well. I can't even remember how it works, so I don't want to even bring this up. I remember something to do with tanks. That was good.
No, I don't remember it.
I think we was similar-ish then. I think my first gaming stuff was PC, but not like PC gaming now, like you were saying with Miniclip and that.
Yeah.
But I can remember
Flash games.
My first proper one that wasn't really a game was like an educational Pingu game. Okay. That was the first thing I can properly remember spending hours on. And you had these little games where you'd hop across like ice flows. You'd have to hop onto one, and then it'd slide, hop onto the next, and then you'd answer some 2 + 2 is kind of questions.
Oh, okay, so it's not like the hop on. You wouldn't jump onto like a 2 plus a 2.
No,
equals...
I think they were separate things. There was nothing educational about the hopping one.
Oh, okay.
Might come at the end. That was my first game anyway. And then the first proper game was Pokemon. Yeah. Same as you, I think. My cousin had the original one that wasn't colour. And then that was when I got home. I was like, for Christmas, I need one of these. But by that time, the colour had come out, and it was a green Game Boy Color.
You had a green one.
I put a little crocodile sticker on it because he was green.
Yeah.
As well. I've still got that one now. I lost it for a while and bought another one when I was maybe like 18 and then found it. So now I've got two. Mm-hmm. So I can trade between them now. Yeah.
Did you have red or blue or yellow?
I had red.
You had red, yeah.
And somehow got a copy of yellow. I don't remember buying it. I don't remember getting it. I feel like it must have been left by like a friend. Stolen. I just never took the time to give it back.
Like, Mum, Jimmy's left his... no, just say nothing.
No,
just take it.
Just, yeah.
Erase all his Pokemon. It's classic. Console. Yeah, my first ever console was a PlayStation 1. So, and I remember getting that at my grandma's for Christmas. And I remember playing the demo, and I think there was Abe the Alien. Is it Abe?
That rings a bell.
Yeah, it was like some weird alien game. And I can't really remember much else from that demo. I remember playing Hercules a lot.
I remember that on PC though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what I feel like in that era, this will come up later because I've got this written down.
Right.
PC games and console games were really different. Like, if it was the same title and it was released around the same time, I'm sure the versions were different.
Oh.
I have an example of this.
Okay.
But I definitely remember this one.
Right.
I'm not going to mention because spoilers.
Spoilers coming later. Okay. Mm-hmm. Exciting.
That just popped into my head then.
Yeah. So, yeah, played PlayStation 1. Nothing really sticks out in my mind for like the games I played on that, maybe other than Hercules. I think I had Pinball that my dad used to play a lot. Mm-hmm. Micro Machines. It was like
never heard of it.
You would play as like this mini car racing around a room.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember any else. I was quite young, and then ended up getting the PS2.
Yeah.
I think my dad. I don't know if I should say this. My dad chipped my PS1. I remember.
Can you get arrested now?
Yeah, I know. God. Well, hypothetically, if he had chipped my PS1, then I might have hypothetically ended up with a lot of like pirated games for the PS1. So, and then there's nothing that really took my fancy.
Did you have the issues? Because I actually didn't. I'm not saying this to cover me, but my cousin did have a chipped one.
Yeah. You
and I seem to remember that we encountered loads of issues, like you couldn't save certain things. Like, I remember we'd play for hours and we knew we couldn't turn it off or come back to it, because if we did, we couldn't save it at any point.
Did he just not have a memory card?
No, he did. I'm sure it was only the pirated ones. But we also had the issue, you could play some of the PS1 games on a PS2, but you couldn't save again. Like, I went for a weekend, we'd have to keep it running, and we'd have to warn all the family, like, don't touch the PlayStation, you'll ruin our whole weekend.
No, I never had that. Like, I did get a PS2 in the end, and ended up, it wasn't chipped, it was this weird version where, I don't know if you remember the PS2, it had a slide open door, like it was slide open. Well, you could replace the top to be like a flip open.
Right.
So you would put in this like disc, and that'd get past the stage where it's like, oh, this is actually a game, and then you would flip it open at the top, so the PlayStation didn't realise you would put a new disc in, and then you'd put in like this pirated copy bit, because it would only check to see if it was pirated at the beginning of the game.
Right. Did you work all this out?
No, my dad worked as like an electrician, so he was like had contacts.
So I was going to say, this was definitely pre-internet, and also we'd have been young.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, if you worked all this out,
no,
it would have had to have been like passed through the grapevine at school or something.
Yeah,
like.
no, it's my dad and like all of his friends at work had like sons and daughters around our age. So what I've said, I had a PS1, PS2.
Yeah.
What did you have that, or were you like an Xbox kid?
Well, I remember there was one of my friends from school who had a PS1.
Yeah.
Played a lot of the games I remember from that. There was a Toy Story Racers game. It was kind of like a Wacky Racers type thing.
Right.
And there was an Incredible Hulk game where you just walked around and smashed things. Mm-hmm. I remember that it was kind of...
I bet there's more to it than that.
No, I really don't think there was.
That's just how you played the game.
I'm sure it was... Oh, what was it called? It was something to the effect of, like, the Incredible Hulk destruction. Like, the aim of it was you would, like, just smash stuff. I'm probably remembering this completely wrong, but I'm sure there was no more to it than that. So he had that, and I never had a console at that point. I kind of just for ages had a computer with like 2 educational type games.
Right.
One of them was called, it wasn't super educational, it was called like, I think it was Forestier. I wanted to find this actually, and I couldn't find where to play it. But you were basically... It was like a point and click type thing.
Right.
And it'd be full of like mini games that kind of tricked you into learning.
Right.
And like I remember because it was a forest, it was trying to teach you to like look after the environment type thing.
Okay.
So that I had them for ages. So when I went to either my friend's house or my cousin who had the PS2, like that was the best thing ever.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like an actual game rather than something your mum and dad got out of like a cereal box. It was like
pretty
teach
much
children.
Although I remember loving Forestier.
Yeah.
That was great.
I think at some point when you've just not been introduced to any games, you're like, this is the best, whatever it is.
But I remember like my mum, I think because she didn't really know anything about games, she was like, can't go near that because GTA... when that was kind of like, I feel like it was in the news for being like damaging to kids because it was teaching them. Because I know it was like an 18 title.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been playing it. But I remember that was a big thing. She was like, no, can't have a console.
Right.
Because of that.
Because you might get GTA.
Yeah.
Right.
But PS2, eventually got that. And I remember the games that I got for that. Gran Turismo 4. That was a big one. That was cool.
Yeah.
I've since played that recently. Doesn't hold up.
No.
It's bad.
What are these squares driving around this grayness?
Graphics, terrible. Also, like, the actual handling it's bad. I don't know how I played that for so long, but...
Oh, yeah, I remember having Need for Speed and Burnout on PS2. They were I enjoyed those games. There were some good ones. Some good stuff.
We can cover that in a bit as well.
Spoilers.
Well,
I was going to talk about my early PC as well. So I played a bit of... Have you ever played... You must have heard of Zoo Tycoon and Roller Coaster Tycoon. Yeah. The staples of what seemed to be my youth. I think almost everybody has played that.
Oh, yeah.
Around that time. And another one I played that nobody seemed to know is... Have you heard of Pharaoh?
No.
No, it was
I think I'm one of those people that's not heard of it.
Yeah. It's a bit like... like a civilization game, basically. You would build a town in ancient Egypt and stuff goes wrong. Stuff sets on fire and stuff like that. So after the PS2, I ended up getting a Wii. I really enjoyed the Mario Strikers game.
Straight over my head.
No, it was like a football game with Mario in. It was really good.
If it was football, that's probably wasn't. Yeah. Wasn't interested.
And then I was like really waiting for Super Smash Brothers to come out. Brawl, like the Super Smash. Is that what's it called? Melee. It was Melee and then Brawl, wasn't it?
I've since only played them maybe in the last 2 years. All of that. I never really played anything Mario other than the, like first Mario side-scrolly standard one.
Yeah, well, and eventually I was like, I can't be bothered. Like, all my friends had Xbox 360s, and I was just like hearing about every day at school about them playing these games. I'm like, oh man, I've got to get one. So I was about 16. So I sold my Wii, and made a profit when I bought my Wii, and then I sold it, and then I bought an Xbox 360 and still made a profit because like this was like people were desperate for a Wii. It was like coming up for Christmas.
Yeah.
And like the Wii's had like sold out everywhere, and I just sold mine on eBay, and it went for like 500 quid.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to buy an Xbox 360, and then I'd like made a profit off that.
I feel like I can remember that era because my cousin was a little bit younger than me, and I feel like Nintendo's got a track record for that.
Yeah.
That they sell out, and then people are desperate for them. Because I remember that with the DS as well.
Yeah. Where it's really like, I think it just takes off at some point, and Nintendo are just not expecting, and it just blows up, and everybody wants one, and then I just made a bunch of money off it. Well, a little bit, and then got my Xbox 360, and I remember my group of friends that were like quite into music, and I'm not really into music, and they went and watched was it maybe Paramore? And they all went to watch that, and they were like, James, you want to come? I was like, nah. And I ended up getting my Xbox on the same day they went to Paramore.
Right.
And I'm like trying to play my Xbox, and they're ringing me up and just like, you're missing out so much. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, you're not here? I'm like, no.
I was probably a few days before or after, because we'd have been in different locations at that point. I was probably at the same tour.
Yeah.
Watching Paramore.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, who are these people? I don't really know who they are.
Love a bit of Paramore.
No, it's not me. Do not enjoy
I think that was the first album I bought with my own money. Riot. Whenever that would have been.
Here's a revelation for you, Ben. I don't think I've ever bought an album with my own money.
Oh, God.
I
think we should end this podcast now.
Friendship over.
Where did we get to? Yeah, 360 for me as well.
Yeah.
Around the same time. Mine was kind of... I did have one, but I didn't have one. because my dad had one at his house.
Okay.
But I spent most of the time at my mum's.
Right.
So when we were there, like I'd just play Xbox as much as I could, and then maybe 2 years after that, I got my own one, and then just carried on playing it just as much. But I remember there was Skate. I don't know if you played that game at all.
Yeah.
It was kind of like just post when Tony Hawk's games were like at their peak.
Yeah.
And then Skate came out, and it was this whole new like control system where you like kind of flicked where your feet were going,
right?
Like for the tricks. So instead of like mashing square, you'd actually like flick.
Feel like you're in control.
So that was cool.
I think I may have played that at someone's house. I don't think I ever had that.
Good game.
Tony Hawk's though. That was
spoilers.
Spoilers. Jeez, how many spoilers have you got? I thought it was a top 5 we were doing here. Do we want to go? Do we want to get onto that now?
Shall we? I think before we do, that's not all list, by the way. What you can see,
gosh,
that's a lot of just points.
That just goes on forever.
Points.
Mine doesn't even look at this. Doesn't even cover a full. Right.
We'll
so for those who can't see,
Ben's
got like a full list of iPads that scrolls, and mine is an iPhone's worth of maybe 5 lines.
That's not all the list.
Okay.
That's just
there's
points.
more than that.
There's No.
That's not all of the
what
list.
you can see
right.
isn't just games.
Okay.
It's talking points.
Right, okay.
What I was going to say, before we actually get into the list, is why don't we just kind of talk about, or in fact, rather than us talk about it,
right?
I think I've got an idea of what you are like as a gamer.
Okay.
Shall I try and describe you,
and
you describe me?
Go on, have a go.
Okay. I feel like your list will be quite different to mine.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're not necessarily the most into like the story kind of open world games as much as you are kind of like technical, competitive kind of games.
Yeah.
Would that be fair?
In my mind, if I'm not really beating somebody, then it's not necessarily fun to me.
Okay. That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, so on my list, there is not much storytelling games. There's a little bit, but not much, no.
Okay.
And I would say you are much less competitive than me. I think you still probably got a little bit in you, but you...
Yeah, maybe not in life.
No.
But with games.
Yeah. You're probably much more story-driven, so I'm expecting open world kind of things where you do whatever you want, much more story-driven stuff.
I think that summarizes. Yeah. I'd say I'm, of the two of us, probably the slightly more casual gamer. I think I tend to get a bit obsessed with certain things, but I'll go through phases of gaming a lot and then not gaming for a long time.
Yeah.
And I tend to be... I think because I've never been as good at the technical kind of games, I've just avoided them.
Right.
I've never spent the time on trying to get better at them.
Right.
I'll just sack it off and go and play something story-based.
It's like...
Because I can just relax to it then.
I don't want to be average or below average.
Yeah.
Because I don't like losing.
Because I am competitive.
Yeah.
But if I'm not good at it,
right.
I'll sack it off.
Ah, okay. So,
yeah.
See, I get motivated. If someone beats me, that annoys me no end. So I need to... And I think a big one for that is my friend Lee, who was a lot like me, very competitive. We ended up playing a lot of the same games.
Yeah.
And me and him are very like similar ability, and we were just kind of fighting each other up until we're quite good at games.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to start with yours, number 5?
See, I'm looking at it now. I've got a list of about 20.
Yeah.
I narrowed it to 10.
Right.
And then I'm still not even sure of my top 5.
Okay.
Even now it's written in front of me. Okay, I'm going to go number 5.
Okay, number 5. Ben's number 5.
This is close.
This is close.
Okay, this is the newest game.
Okay.
This just came out...
Right.
A month ago. Not even that. 3 weeks ago. Marvel Spider-Man.
Marvel Spider-Man, yes.
I was so hyped for this game, like, more than I can remember for any game.
Yeah.
Because I can remember the Spider-Man series. It's not all into one studio, I don't think, through its whole lifespan.
Yeah.
But I can remember there was like a movie tie-in back in, I think I've got 2002 there, when Spider-Man came out in the cinema.
Yeah. The original Tony Maguire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one. Like, that's the first Spider-Man
No, it's
game
Tobey
I
Maguire.
remember.
Tobey Maguire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's Tony? His weird brother.
I didn't even clock that. Yeah, but this game, like, nails Because I thought at the time when I would have been, how old would I have been? Like 8, something like that, playing the first one. I felt like Spider-Man. That was like peak of gaming at the time.
It can't get any better.
No. And then since playing that a few years ago, it's awful. Like they had this awful swinging system where you moved in a very linear, flat line.
Okay.
The webs didn't attach to anything. Just straight up into the sky.
Yeah, I think I've played a couple where it's like either you just attach to the ceiling that is the sky, or I remember playing one that was actually connected to buildings.
That came, I think, in the sequel, in Spider-Man 2, they like redesigned it.
Yeah.
So I watched a video on it recently where there was someone who came along and they were like disappointed because they like Spider-Man. They were like, the webs need to attach to something. So they came up with this new system where like they mapped out all these points on things that webs could attach to.
Right.
So you could like trace it to a building corner or a lamppost.
Yeah.
So they did do that. But I remember in the first one, you couldn't, if you went below like a certain height, you'd just die. Like you couldn't go to the floor. Nothing. You couldn't go in buildings. It like would just kind of randomly spawn you in another location. If you got to like a mission marker, it'd just load you in a new room.
Yeah.
But I think they've nailed it with the new one. Like this is what nostalgically how I felt at the time.
How
that
it felt,
makes sense. But now it actually is that. Like it's just Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's great.
From what I've played around here, the movement and the actual being of Spider-Man looks and feels good.
Yeah.
But I have absolutely no need to play the rest of that game. Like, I have got all the enjoyment out of that game that I will ever get now. Yeah. Like, like we came around the other week and you handed it to me and I was like, well, what am I doing with this now? Like, I've done it. Like, I've fought some people. Like, the fighting doesn't really get more interesting than kind of like more gadgets, and I'm like, it doesn't sell it to me.
Yeah, I get that. I think I'm massively swayed. I think a lot of people would have that as a good game if they're going to make a list like we've just done. But I'm obsessed with superheroes.
Yeah,
I think that really helps.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but that's I'm going number 5 with that. I have kind of throughout the whole series. I think the best one other than this came out in 2005. I've got it written here. It was Ultimate Spider-Man. It was a PS2 title.
Okay. And
they kind of... The graphics back then obviously weren't great. They felt good at the time.
Yeah.
But they animated it in a way... They kind of tied it in. There was a comics run, like the Ultimates universe at the time. And they animated it like a comic, which really helped. Because it didn't need to look like real life. Yeah. So that looked really cool because it felt like you were in a comic. And that one, for the time, like, it doesn't massively hold up now. But it was a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't make the list though.
I kind of, because we were talking about this. You text me a couple of days ago saying, "Do we talk about a whole series or just the one game?" So my one game out of Spider-Man.
No, that's not a series.
It's not a series, but it's had a lot of games.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like, Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, Borderlands 3. I'm like, that's a series. But like Spider-Man spanned over 20 years. Like, yes, that's a series.
True.
You're just so obsessed with superheroes that just gets you at a point that you love.
Yeah. Well, because I've got nostalgic love for these.
Yeah.
Because I feel there's a lot of things that I want to put on this list where I was like, objectively, this isn't a good game. But nostalgic goggles on.
Yeah.
Best thing ever.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. That's my number 5. So right. What were you going for?
So my number 5 is RuneScape.
Okay.
So obviously it's a MMO online for those people that don't know. You massively multiplayer online, so you're playing with other people. There is a story mode, but there's lots of trading in that. And I got into that through Miniclip. I think you could.
Okay.
There was like a link to it, and then I signed up to it. And for maybe about 6 months, that was the only way I could get to RuneScape was through Miniclip. I was like, Miniclip, and then click on RuneScape, and then log in from there, because I was like, oh, it's just a game on Miniclip like everything else, apart from that it wasn't, and I didn't really understand.
Yeah.
And I was like a proper noob on that game. Like I was like a proper child. I had no idea what was going on. Like at one point, like I got quite upset, and like went and told my mum and dad that someone was calling me a knob. But they were spelling it wrong. So I'm like, well, they're not spelling it N-O-B, they're spelling it N-O-O-B.
I see.
Yeah, and I'm like, they're calling me a knob.
You proper noob.
Yes, that's how much of a noob I was. I didn't even know what a noob was.
How old were you?
Maybe I felt like I was still primary school age, maybe pushing like 10,
Right.
if that.
I must have come to this much later then. I think I remember it from maybe 14, because I really got into it as well. There was like 3 of us at school that were really into it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I played that kind of not really getting the game, just kind of enjoy, and then like speaking to people.
There was a lot to that game.
Yeah. Like I played as like a free non-member for ages, and I have this vivid memory looking back on the game now. I was like really just starting out new, and there was like some items on the floor, like, you know, so you get these armor that's like rune, so it's like one of the top level armors, and someone's tried to trade and give it to me, and like, oh, I'm leaving, you can have this, but you know, items, you could note them if they were coming out the bank. You could either have them as a real item, or you could have them as note and they would stack.
Right.
You couldn't wear it straight away. You'd have to go to the bank and take it out again. But it meant that items that wouldn't normally stack would stack.
Yeah.
So normally you could only have maybe like 25 of these rune items, whereas otherwise you could stack them on top of each other. And someone tried giving me to these, and I was like, no, this is fake. I'd never seen one of these like noted items before, and I like dropped it and ran away and was like, no, get away from me, like, because I thought I was gonna get like banned and like all caught because he was like fake these items. And looking back now, I'm like, you absolute noob. Like he probably called me a noob. He probably called me a noob. But I was like, no, he's calling me a knob.
Away.
Yeah, and I was like, oh God, I was very embarrassed looking back on that now. I was like, oh dear.
You noob.
Yeah, I'm talking like, this is like the 2007 RuneScape old school, and I kind of never got to the RuneScape 3 kind of stuff when it came.
No, I don't think I'd have come across that either, because I tried playing it maybe 3 years ago. I tried logging on. Yeah. I had to make a new account. Couldn't remember.
Couldn't remember it. No.
Didn't recognise a thing. It didn't even look like I remember.
Oh, that you must be on the RuneScape 3. Have you tried the old school RuneScape?
No, have they not shut down the server for that now?
No. It's an old school one. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's like it's more popular than the normal RuneScape now.
Because I can't remember the place names now, but I can remember there was the wilderness.
Yeah.
And just south of that, there was like a town.
There's Varrock, and then there's you get the map up. Have a look.
Okay, go on. You keep talking.
So yeah, Varrock was like the one that's like closest to the wilderness, and then there's one a bit further east. The glory amulet would teleport you to. I can't remember its name now.
Right.
That's how much I used to play.
To be fair, this has been years.
Yeah. No, this is how addicted to this game I was, is that we would go on holiday, and I would find the nearest computer area, and I would play on that. I would just play it for a week while we were away on holiday, because I couldn't not play it.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Right.
Yes, so I played RuneScape
Hot question.
for a long time. Go on.
What was your username?
Do you want to look it up now? Because it's quite embarrassing, and it became my Xbox name, and it also became quite embarrassing.
Okay.
So my name was Jim Bob.
Jim Bob.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Nice.
3.
I thought you were going to stop at Jim Bob, and I was going to be very impressed that was available.
No, I think I tried like Jim Bob 1. No, Jim Bob 1, 2, and then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was like, 6 is silly. So 3. Yeah, and then
how not silly.
Yeah. So everyone can go back and look at my stats and call me a proper noob, because I played it for years and I still look terrible.
See, I can remember mine. I hated usernames where you had to, if I had to put numbers on, I had to start again, because I was like, nah, I need to come up with something fresh. But there was like a character limit, so I was using my email username when I came up with it, but it couldn't fit the last letter.
Okay.
So my username was Messy Pudding.
Okay.
Because that wasn't taken.
Right.
But I was Messy Pudding.
Pudding.
Because it couldn't fit the G on.
Like a gangster, just with no G in there.
That was my username.
Right. Number 4.
This is the only game where I feel like we might have some crossover.
Okay.
This was another game that I really enjoyed. I wasn't ever that good at it.
Okay.
Halo 3.
Halo 3.
Is that on your list?
It is. It does make my list, yes.
Is it higher than that?
It's much higher than that.
Ah, okay. I've got a lot of love for that game.
Yeah.
360. Were you a big fan before Halo 3?
I had never played a Halo before Halo 3.
Because I remember one of my friends had Halo... What was that called? Combat Evolved?
Yeah.
CE,
yeah.
But I saw him play one level and thought it looked incredible. Couldn't remember what the game was at the time. Then my cousin got Halo 2. And I remember that was the most epic thing because you could do co-op. And I remember you could hop in a warthog.
Yeah.
And you kind of went over a bridge.
Right.
And it must have been the first level.
Yeah.
But you kind of played for a bit. And then when you're going over that bridge, like the soundtrack kicks in.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in a film. Like,
yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
And then I think by the time Halo 3 came out, that was at a point where the graphics had kind of caught up. Like, they were good at the time, I feel. Like, they were one of the better looking games.
Yeah.
And that was around the time where I didn't have Xbox Live for a while when I did get a 360, but I remember I got it so I could play this with my friends.
That makes no sense. Like, I can't envision myself getting a console and not getting the live, like, so I can play online. I think that just is a fundamental difference between me and you. It's like, that was like the first thing I got.
For ages, I played bits of the story on my own, obviously.
Yeah.
And then by the time I got live, all my friends were like seasoned players.
Yeah.
And I was like a casual Halo player coming into this, like, I was so far behind.
Yeah.
And I think that was the beginning of me kind of just giving up on shooters. Because I'm like, I'm so far off the mark here.
Yeah.
But I still loved it.
Yeah.
I just got destroyed, like, every game.
Yeah. So, like, before I came to Halo 3, all my friends, we played COD 4.
Yeah.
Like, we played that really competitively. And then we came to Halo 3, which is like, was a transition. It was kind of a rift between the friends because some people never got into Halo and then, like, stayed on COD. And then the rest of us, like, there's only a couple of us went to Halo and we, like, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I really enjoyed the campaign, which I'm assuming you played.
I did.
Quite a bit, which is, I think the co-op on that is really good.
Yeah. I think that's why I enjoyed it, because the reason I got into Halo was me and my cousin, when we were growing up, spent a lot of time gaming together.
Yeah.
And we definitely went for, like, the co-op games that we could do together, and Halo was, like, the best for that at the time.
Yeah.
Like, it really worked as a game that, like, the two of you could do together.
Yeah, because one would play as Master Chief and the other one you'd play as Arbiter. If you're playing as two, like, number 2 is Arbiter, which is, like, integral to as a character in the game. It's like, you feel so cool.
The other thing, I feel like you might get this if you hadn't played a game prior. I didn't get a lot of the story at the time.
No.
Because I know we'd have been younger.
Yeah.
But that's always been my intention. Like, I want to play from the beginning of them.
We should do that.
Now, because they've got Master Chief Collection, we could do that from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I'm still not entirely sure on the story.
No, should we do that?
Yeah.
Should we do that, like, through Halo through to 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Cool.
I think, from what I've heard, Halo 5 campaign just takes a shit on everything that Halo's done.
Yeah.
So that is just, maybe we'll give that one a miss. But I think, yeah, we could do that. Work our way through.
Because for ages, as a, not a child, I don't even remember how old we'd have been when this came out, but kind of like that Zelda thing of people thinking Link's called Zelda.
Right.
I thought Master Chief was called Halo.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that, yeah. Oh, he's the Halo. I think a lot of even parents were like, oh, he's the Halo guy. Even if you don't know who Master Chief is, he's the Halo guy, yeah. Yeah. No, the campaign to me was more of a vehicle that I would spend time with my friends, more than I really enjoyed the campaign. It was just like, basically, we would hang out in the Halo campaign and kind of just work our way through it and that kind of stuff. Like, if it's not being competitive, like, if we were playing with someone who was not so good,
that would have been me.
Then we would play campaign because we didn't want to ruin our rank. Yeah. So I think we'll do a bit more talking of Halo 3 when I get to mine.
Yeah.
So shall I do my number 4 then?
Yeah, you go for that.
So my number 4 might surprise you, is the Portal games.
That was where did I put it on my final 10? No, I didn't. It was on my my very long list.
Yeah.
Those games are great.
Yeah. So I think I would say Portal 2, I think, is the better game.
Peak.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, I'm saying how I'm, like, a really competitive person, and that, like, if I'm not beating someone, where this was kind of like beating something, because it's like, it's me against the puzzle.
Yeah. And they're actually challenging puzzles.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then the storyline that goes along with it is really good. It's funny.
I think that's why. See, this is a good game that we could cross over on.
Yeah.
Because the story's the thing that got me with that one. Because it felt like they never really revealed everything to you.
No.
Like, it felt like there was such a wider
Yeah. Like you
kind
get
of story to
snippets
it.
of like, what is that? Like you just catching stuff around
Yeah.
the corner. Yeah.
It was also really dark
Yeah.
in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, everyone just dies here or stuff like that. It's like,
Yeah.
usually people scream.
I'm just trying to remember the name of who voices.
Oh, GLaDOS.
No, the
Wheatus.
yeah, because I really like him, and I can't think why. I
He's
can't
Ricky
remember his name.
Gervais's friend.
Yeah, very Stephen Merchant.
Stephen Merchant.
That one.
Let's
Good
cut
job.
straight to that. Ricky Gervais's friend. I bet he really likes that.
Yeah, I was going to Google that. No need now.
Yeah, he's really good in that. And then like becomes like crazy at the end.
Yeah.
And then like you go to the moon and it's like great.
Yeah, what was that? I remember that finish. You end up because it reveals that that's like a surface you can portal to, doesn't it?
Yeah, and so you basically suck everything out into space.
Yeah.
As a way to survive and not die. Yeah, that's the end of the game. Spoilers.
Yeah,
for
spoilers.
anyone that was not listening. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we should a whole episode preface with spoilers.
Spoilers for games
For everything.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I feel like it's been out long enough now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's another game that we could two-player as.
Yeah, because that's another good thing about the game. There's a different set of puzzles for two-player than there is to one-player, isn't there? Because I feel like there's a slight Easter egg type thing. If you're on the one-player thing, you kind of look across a bridge at one point and you can see the two robots that you play as on co-op kind of run across.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the co-op, I remember playing with my ex-girlfriend, and I'm not saying that's what broke us up, but, you know, that is some argument in court, like, causing stuff that will, you're like, where? Put it there, just put the fucking portal down! Like, yeah, you some anger-inducing stuff there. So, I mean, if we want to end our friendship, we could play that.
Yeah, let's do that then.
Yeah.
Cool. Valve... Half-Life was the other big thing there. Have you ever played them?
I got Portal with the orange box.
Right, okay.
Which came with Portal, Half-Life 2, and Team Fortress 2.
Right, got you.
So I played a bit of all of those. Like, I think
how do you... Because I know that, like, there's a big cult following for Half-Life.
Yeah.
Because they want Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that Valve have never...
Yeah, we've just pushed it back a bit more now,
Yeah. I never played them. Don't know if they're any good.
My problem is it's the kind of game that I don't really enjoy.
So, I'll probably love it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I think I tried playing it. I'm like, I'm bored now. Bored. It's like 20 minutes in. I'm not shooting something. I'm not killing somebody else. I'm not beating someone. I'm not winning. Why am I playing this?
Yeah.
So.
Right. Should we go number 3?
Number 3, yep.
My number 3
Go on.
is, I feel like this is definitely a game that won't feature on yours.
Okay.
GTA 5.
Okay. That doesn't feature on mine at all. No.
I haven't really visited the series much before that.
Okay.
I remember GTA 4 I played a bit of, but I didn't own the game. It was one that my cousin had, so I kind of like dipped in and out and thought it was good, but yeah.
What is it about that you like?
Just the whole world feels like a real world that you can live in. Like there's so much in it.
Yeah.
I remember it came out at a good time as well. We just started uni, so it was first year of uni. Moved into this new flat with people that I didn't know, and one of the guys was also like kind of into gaming, not hugely, kind of the same as me. Like we kind of dipped in and out. GTA 5 had just come out not long before, or even just after we started. So I remember we were like, let's go halves on it, and we'll play it together. So we kind of like would switch between missions together, and it just felt like it was one of those games because it was repeating missions and stuff, but they did it in a way that was creative every time. It didn't feel like you were doing the same thing over and over and grinding through, because they had the 3 separate characters that you'd switch between.
Michael, Trevor,
and Franklin. And I just love the story crossing over between the 3. Yeah. Just a great game.
Yeah, I've the best way I would say I played that game is like I played it watching somebody. So my ex-girlfriend bought it for my Xbox and played it. And she really enjoyed it, whereas I kind of was like playing a different game or playing something else and kind of just saw it in the background. Yeah. So, and then like, that's enough for me. And then maybe 10 minutes.
Like with Spider-Man.
Yeah, with Spider-Man. 10 minutes of me just going around shooting everything. Yeah. I think I played the online a little bit. Yeah. I think there was an actual multiplayer shooting people online, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. See, that's the bit that I feel like you might be able to get into. Yeah. But again, it's not it's not a highly skilled shooter.
No.
There's a lot of auto aim.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was like you'd press the aim button and it would just like lock on to the nearest person.
You could turn it off.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's not what you wanted. It's not what I wanted.
I think it's like that's the kind of game that I don't play it for long stints now. Like I played through the story maybe 3 or 4 times, but it's just the kind of game where you can kind of like see what happened with your face then to people who can't see you.
Playing a game 3 or 4 times over, like I can't imagine that. Like you already know how the game goes.
Yeah.
Like
I say this over that game came out 4 years ago, 5 years ago, if that maybe a bit more. Actually.
Yeah.
About then, I didn't play it back to back.
Yeah.
I'd kind of not touch it for a year. Be like, I'll play that.
But it's
again.
not like you can go through the game and play it in a different way where you've got like, different options. It's literally
there is a point, spoilers again, towards the end where you're Franklin,
okay,
and you can choose to try and save the other 2 characters,
right?
Because you kind of end up in some big FBI or I think FIB in GTA.
Okay.
This thing where you can either kill Michael,
right,
or Trevor,
okay,
or go against the FIB,
right,
and save them,
right.
So there's a little bit of choice.
Okay.
No, I mean, if you complete the game, you can go back to just that mission and do it. You don't have to play the whole thing.
Right. Okay. So like the one choice they give you, you can make you do it more than once.
Yeah, and then you will permanently, if you choose to kill one of them, after you can obviously free roam as long as you want. Those characters will be off the board.
Right.
Like one of them will be out the game.
So
if you've killed him.
Okay. So it's not like Detroit Becomes Human, where every decision impacts your game.
Not to that extent.
No.
Because you'll just end up taking one of the characters out.
Yeah. That kind of game draws me in a bit more.
Yeah.
Like where you actually make a decision and things matter.
Yeah.
Whereas like GTA bores me.
No, I get that. I expected that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my number 3.
Okay. My number 3 here's one that might surprise you again-ish, is Mass Effect.
Okay, this is a game that passed straight over my head at the time, and I feel like that is quite open-worldy game that I would enjoy up to a point.
Right.
Because I've never played it, so I don't actually know.
Okay, so it's probably the only like story-based game where I've played through like multiple games of it. So like, I played Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And I played through all of them. Not more than once, because I'm not a crazed person. Like, that needs to see the story more than once. And I don't know, it just gripped me. Like, it got me from the beginning, where, like, most of the game... I think it's the sci-fi setting. I'm really into kind of, like, sci-fi stuff. So, if it's in the future, it, like, really caught me. And so, I would really recommend... I think that's a game that you would really enjoy.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one out of the series, it was probably Mass Effect 2.
Right.
Mass Effect 1, I would... Some people played 2 and then went back and played 1, and you just realise how awkward all the movement is and all the shooting is in Mass Effect 1. So I would say play 1 and then like play in order.
Yeah. Because
if you do it in the wrong order, you go back to play 1, you're like, oh my god, this is terrible, I can't play this game.
I think that's why, because I'd heard a lot of good things, and someone said, I can't remember who it was, they said that it's the kind of game that I'd like.
Yeah.
I think I ended up playing a little bit and it hadn't aged well.
No.
I was just like, I can't be bothered with this now.
If you were to do... Have you got PS3?
No.
Never
had PS3.
On the PS3, so Mass Effect 1 never came out on the PS3, it was Xbox 360. You could get this, like, basically quick playthrough, so you wouldn't play any of the missions, and the only thing you would do is do all the decisions.
Yeah.
So it kind of gave you a bit of backstory, and then you'd make the decisions that would affect the next game. So the games would affect each other. So some people only played 2 because they just made their decisions in 1. If that makes sense. So yeah, I would really recommend it. But if you're going to do it, then maybe start at 2 after making some decisions, and then play 3, and then we can discuss how the ending of 3 destroyed me.
I think another reason I've not played it is I think it got spoiled for me.
Okay.
And I felt like, what's the point in going through?
Yeah.
I already know what happens. I might be wrong.
Go on.
You discover that your character's going insane from something.
That's one of the endings, I guess. So it's like you there's lots of different things.
Okay.
So at the end, someone who's your boss and you think's in control. Yeah. And then they're like, surprise, and they're taking over the world and that kind of stuff. Like,
right.
They were the baddie all along kind of trope.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So 3, I was really unhappy with the ending of 3.
Yeah.
And how, like, throughout the whole game, you have all these, like, nuanced decisions. And basically it comes down to it, and you have to pick, like, one of 3 colours.
Right.
And then all the endings are basically the same.
Okay.
So it was a bit, like, it felt like a spit in the face, basically.
Right.
How you cared for all these, like, different characters and, like, tried your best to make everyone do this. And, like, people would die if you made the wrong decision and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you get to the end and you got like, wow, you got like all these 3 decisions, like all these like different decisions depending on like how you played and stuff like that. And then like when it finished, I was like, what? I don't want to make any of these choices.
Yeah.
All of these choices are bad.
So it was all effectively for nothing.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will talk quickly about this. Didn't make my list.
Go on. Honourable mention in the middle here.
Honourable mention. Telltale.
Yeah.
As a studio.
Yeah.
They've just folded.
Yeah.
I think their peak was The Walking Dead. That first one.
Yeah.
They got a lot of other good things, but I think they kind of lost it, whereas Detroit Become Human, you can see this big tree of everything that you do genuinely impacts the story. Like, there's hundreds of endings that can happen. Some of the like changes are small, and some of them are you can end up with a completely different game.
Yeah.
Telltale, I think the reason that they've not lasted that well is they give you an illusion of these choices mattering.
Right.
Whereas you can
it's like
roughly end up in the same point regardless of what you do. Some of the characters may die along the way, but then by the time they get to the next game, those characters are gone anyway. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like,
yeah, the decisions you made meant nothing.
Yeah. Like, that first game, you were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The next game that I'm going to go into, all these choices, it's all mapping out in this big, huge way, and it just doesn't.
No, because like the thing is, like, Clementine will remember that, isn't it? And it's like,
exactly.
Oh, you've done that. And God, they'll remember that, and that's going to affect the decisions later. And it just didn't.
And it's like, oh, by game 3, I could have done anything.
Yeah,
it'll end up in exactly the same way. So I'm kind of like not entirely surprised that because I think they're on season 3, is it now, or 4? And it was meant to be this big final closing thing for Clementine and her journey. And the company's folded, and I don't think they're going past episode 2. So it's never going to get concluded anyway. But also by this point, and I think the reason they folded is a load of people have lost interest because they've kind of discovered it doesn't really
it was kind of
anyway.
like a niche for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, because there was like loads of different ones, didn't they? Like Telltale this, Telltale that.
Yeah, because they did Game of Thrones. I think there was a Guardians of the Galaxy one. They did Batman.
Minecraft? I'm sure there's a Minecraft one.
I think that's the only game that they've said they're still continuing to completion.
That's probably because that's all the money is in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Probably.
Anyway, let's move on from that because I think this is already going to end up going way over time anyway, and we're sidetracking lots. So, I'm going in number 2.
Number 2.
If I'm correct now.
Yep, that's you.
We touched on this very briefly.
Okay.
Pokemon.
Yes.
Pokemon Red, I've gone for specifically.
Oh, okay.
Because I know that you can red, blue, yellow.
Yes.
Are kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Gold and Silver, I went into a bit after that.
Yeah.
Kind of post that, my interest slowly petered out. I recently, 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Is it Black and White?
Mm-hmm.
I bought a DS and played a bit of that. And I really enjoyed it, but it just didn't have the same... Like, for, I want to say, 3-4 years of my life, like, my life revolved around Pokemon. I think most people around our age had that to some degree.
Yeah, like played a lot of Pokemon.
I remember, like,
Pokemon
I had,
cards.
like, one of the books that was a Pokedex, but, like, on paper.
Yeah.
I took it to school with me. Like, as soon as I got home from school, like, my mum would pick me up, I'd just be talking about Pokemon. And they got to a point where she was like, no Pokemon for you.
Really?
Like, it was literally all I talked. It was unhealthy. I remember, like, because with the Game Boy Color, you didn't have backlights. No. I remember there was a point where I kind of, like, hid a torch under my covers, like, to play at night. Eventually, you could buy, like, a clip-on light thing with a magnifying glass.
Was it like purple? Which is not purple.
No, it was like grey.
Oh, mine was like the see-through purpley plasticky stuff.
See, that's... You know I said that I lost a Game Boy and bought the one I bought recently-ish was see-through purple. But yeah, Pokemon Red.
Yeah.
I love that game so much.
It's so good.
And I've revisited that so many times over the years. Like, I've got a game currently going. I've not touched it in about a year, but, like, 10-year-old me would have loved what I've got on that Game Boy now. Because I've got 2, I have Pokemon Yellow in one, Red on the other, so I could trade
all the ones
between
that you
them.
don't have.
So I kind of had 2 games going and then funneled all of the things I wanted into one.
Yeah.
So I've got like the 3 starters, and it's just great.
Yeah.
I think my most recent resurgence was obviously when Pokemon Go came out, and like everyone was playing it.
Yeah.
And that just well, I lost interest in that a while before they started bringing other generations in, but my like real like love is just that Kanto region.
Yeah.
Like I'm aware of some of the new ones, but like there's so many now. It's like couldn't keep track of that.
Here's where probably me and you differ. Did you ever get into the competitive Pokemon scene?
No, I think I would have done. I just there wasn't into school. Yeah, like there was a lot of it, but I mean, I don't ever remember
like playing online or anything like that.
No.
Yeah, so like, because I probably played like every single generation of Pokemon.
Right, okay.
And then kind of got into the online competitive scene.
Okay.
So like you would, what I would do is, so Smogon, have you heard of Smogon?
Nope.
So Smogon is like an online competitive Pokemon scene where you could create just the Pokemon from scratch. Like you just make them and you just battle them online. Like you wouldn't be you didn't need a Pokemon game to play it. But the idea was that you could kind of fine tune your team and then you could make them on the game to play other people.
Okay.
Because, you know, it could take like days to raise like the perfect Pokemon.
Yeah.
So do you know about EVs and IVs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like getting the perfect one of those and like the perfect Pokemon could take days, and then you'd have to train them up and stuff
there was
like
that thing with I'll ask you this in a minute, but like watching people do speed runs, I wasn't aware of this till more recently.
Right,
like they would restart the game because there's a different like level of base stats in the ones that you pick up.
Yeah.
Because obviously as a kid, like I think one of the reasons that I loved it so much is there was this whole side of the game that you could go into really in depth, like mathematical working things out. But there's also a side of it that you can very surface level play.
Oh yeah,
without getting into any of that.
Oh god, like my first like Pokemons were like I would have Charmander, like level 100.
Yeah.
Everybody else like level 5.
Yeah, completely.
Like that was like I was the one Pokemon kind of guy, and if that Pokemon died, then the other were basically you'd go in, use a full revive on Charizard, put Charizard back in. That was like
the level of attachment to some of those Pokemon was unreal. Like I can remember coming home from there was kind of a neighbour just across the street from me, and I went over to his once and traded. I think you had to trade Pikachu to level it up to a Raichu. Oh no, Thunderstone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember leveling something up, coming home and just sobbing because I was like, it's not the same Pokemon anymore. Why have I done this?
Yeah.
How old were we? It was 98 I've got down.
Yeah, so... You know, like, I think I got it maybe after it, like...
I must have been a few, because I'd have been 4.
Yeah, so I got it maybe 5, 6.
Yeah, I must have had it the same.
Because I got Yellow, which came out a bit later.
Yeah.
So that's what I got.
See, I've got so much love for that, and I was so excited. We've spoken about that a bit before, but on the Switch, they're basically doing a remaster of those games, and it looks exactly how you, in your head, it looked when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Like, it's 3D, graphics are great. But they've messed with the game.
Yeah, it's kind of
the mechanics are all different.
It's a cross between Pokemon Go and Pokemon, and I don't like it.
They've gone too far.
Yeah, well, I'm not happy with it. I
mean, it's not out.
No,
so we've not played it yet.
No,
could be great, but it doesn't look it.
No, it
doesn't.
Which is
a shame.
Yeah, I think they're probably going for like the new generation, like Pokemon Go people.
Yeah, I mean, what we would have been at the time.
Yeah, probably.
If we were the right age now, that we'd have been well into it.
Probably.
But
yeah, it doesn't feed off my nostalgia and probably won't buy it.
Nope. Hey ho.
Nah. You don't even have a Switch, do you?
No.
So you definitely not going to buy it.
No, but I was genuinely considering buying a Switch to play the game.
Yeah.
But now I've seen more of it, I don't think I will.
Yeah, so basically like a glorified Pokemon machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally my glorified Spider-Man machine over there. Because I've had Xbox One up until Spider-Man was a Sony exclusive.
Yeah, you're just like, I've got to get that.
And I'm glad I have, because there's a whole bunch of games that I love that I've played on it.
Yeah.
Like Become Human, God of War. Yeah, there's some good exclusives. Anyway, I think we've spoken about Pokemon
for long enough.
I could talk more.
Yes.
But let's not.
Let's not. Should we have my number 2?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know anything about this game. League of Legends is my number 2.
I know the name.
Yeah. That's about
really.
it. Yeah. Basically, this is possibly my most played game ever.
Okay. When did this come out?
I don't know when it came out. Probably 2014, maybe. No, a bit earlier than that. 2011, something like that. Look it up.
Cool.
But I didn't play it. I didn't play it like right from the beta. So like came out as a beta.
2009.
Yeah. So it came out.
Did they have trading cards coincide with this? Not like integral to gameplay, but did they have some?
I absolutely have no idea.
I'm sure I got... Oh, we didn't even go over the Pokemon trading cards. That was a whole other thing.
It was.
Let's not get into that.
Possibly.
No idea. Go on.
But anyway, basically it's like a hyper-competitive game.
Right down the street then.
Yeah, so there is literally no campaign. It is 5 versus 5, and winner takes all. So the idea is each team's got a base, and you've got to destroy their base before they destroy your base. Yeah, basically is the idea. And you've got 3 lanes. So you got like it's like if you imagine like a square. Are you getting the map up now?
No, I'm just doing something else.
Okay.
I'm just using while you're talking.
That's
I'm
fine.
gonna search so no one notices. But now it's being put up.
Yeah. So you have a map, and it's like it's 3 lanes. So it's a square shape. So on the top right hand corner, you've got a lane, and you've got a lane going from diagonal to diagonal, and then a lane on the bottom. And then in between that, you've got what's called the jungle. So you have like one character goes around the jungle killing the monsters there, and they maybe attack the other lanes, and then you have like. So that's the same on each side, and then this is usually the meta is 1 person in the top lane, 1 person in the middle lane, and 2 people in each of the bottom lanes.
Right. And so many moving parts to this.
Yeah, it's very, very complicated, and for like a new person coming in, you kind of like I knew nothing about it, and like looking back on how I started, I'm like, wow, I was such a noob.
Yeah.
But this is one of these things where if I can get into a game with somebody else, I kind of just, and they're competitive like me, then we just drive each other to be better. Yeah. Like, I just push and push and push. Like, so my friend Tom, who I used to live with, we would have days where, say, it was uni and we weren't working, we both weren't in uni or something like that. We would maybe spend 10 hours playing League in a day. Like, we would just sit there and just play League of Legends game after League of Legends game after game after game after game. And I know it was like 10 hours because... I remember having a run of like 10 games where we won like all 10, and this is like the best day ever. It was like amazing for us. And like each game, the minimum amount of time it lasts is like 20 minutes, and like they can go up to about an hour, and there's like search time in between that. So we won like 10 games in a row, and we did that multiple times. So we would just sit and spend like we are now, sat across from each other, PC, mouse, and just like shout on each other. We'd both be like in the bottom lane where there's two people. Right. Then we'd often be in that lane together. And yeah, the amount of time I've spent in that game is probably outrageous. I could probably find it out, but it's in the hundreds, maybe thousands of hours in that game. It's a crazy amount.
See, I think that's just the type of game that very little of that appeals to me.
Yeah.
In any way.
I can imagine like getting you, and it's not. The League community is toxic as fuck.
I feel like that's any gaming community up to a point.
Yeah, if you any competitive gaming community, because if you're going into that and you know nothing, the issue is as well that is like people will make a second account and then go into games with people that are brand new and just give them shit. Yeah, because the problem is like if you get banned for being like giving toxic stuff. Then you just create a new account because it's free to play. Right. And then you're playing as a toxic person with other new people. So, like, I was getting absolutely berated. And I didn't know anything at the most time. I was just like, I'm just playing, mate. Like, it didn't bother me. But then I ended up playing it at, like, not a competitive level, like, professionally, but, like, to, like, a high. Like, I think I got into Diamond or something like that, which is... High. People are going to be like, yeah, it's quite high. People are going to be like, nah, it's not that big. But yeah, so it was like a very competitive game. So it's right up my street.
Right up your street?
I think the World Championship has just started, actually. Right. It's like really good to watch. No, well, I say that if you know if you know what's going on, it's good to watch. If you know nothing about it, it's just a mess on a screen. Like, it means absolutely nothing. Like, the other one to that is, do you know Dota 2?
Again, know the name.
Yeah. So, like, Dota 2 is, like, the game that people play and they're like, oh, League's terrible, play Dota 2 instead. But, like, when I watch Dota, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. Because it's not the game that I play. I know the gist of stuff, but, like, and the commentators going wild, oh my god, that was an amazing play, can you see if you come over here? And you're like, what? I just don't understand what's happened.
Yeah.
So I can imagine if you were watching
that
League clip, you just have no idea. Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to do your number one?
Number one, complete opposite of what we've just been talking about.
I think I know.
Yeah,
do you want me to guess?
You know. Yeah, go on, you guess.
I think it's Skyrim.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was the first game in the Elder Scrolls series that I came to.
Yeah.
I've since tried to play Oblivion, and I think so much time has passed since it coming out that just graphics-wise, it's not aged that well, and I've not got into it. Because I know that loads of people, again, toxic community up to a point, they're like, oh, well, Skyrim's just the watered-down version of... And you could go back down the line of games.
Yeah.
But Skyrim, for me, is just everything that I love in a game.
Okay.
Like
what?
Just completely open world.
Right.
If you want, you don't even have to follow the campaign at any point. You could play so much of that game. You could spend hundreds and hundreds of hours. Again, like you were saying, you've spent hundreds upon thousands of hours probably.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know how many hours. Because you were saying earlier about I might have played GTA 4 times through.
Yeah. Skyrim,
I couldn't even count how many times I've played that through on different accounts. Just starting completely afresh, and it's expansive, the whole world.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways you can play it, not from a story point of view, like you don't really affect the game with your choices hugely.
No.
Like there's the whole war that's going on between Stormcloaks and Imperials, and you can kind of influence that a little bit, but that's very much like a side thing. But there's just so much to do, like with the classes, like and the guilds, Thieves Guild, and I just love it.
Yeah, I'm smiling because you say there's so much to do, and like when I've tried to play this game, I'm like, there's nothing to do. Like I'm wandering around, like what am I doing? Like I killed and attacked a bear.
I think that up to a point,
and all I've done is 20 minutes.
Because Bethesda, the other big one that I'm not into as much, and I think that's just the setting of it. Like I very much like the fantasy setting of it, because Fallout is their other franchise, and I've played Fallout 4, and I enjoyed that, but I've only played through that once, whereas Skyrim I've played to death. So to be fair, they've released it so many times as well. That's
yes, it's on every console going ever.
Yeah,
I think.
Was it the joke in their last advert was releasing it on fridges, smart fridges, and Alexa, and
I could see
like
that.
They've started making fun of themselves for how many times they've re-released it.
I mean, people love that game, and so if you can put it on a new console and people are like, it's going to be new graphics, I'll play that again.
That game, I was playing a gig the night that they were releasing the remastered edition. That gig finished at midnight, pretty much.
For a second then, I thought you were going to say you cancelled your gig
to
play this game.
But I knew that I was finishing... I was meant to finish at midnight.
Yeah.
But I finished 10 minutes before.
Okay.
And hoped no one would notice. And they didn't. So I ran from that gig to... I think it was Game that I found were doing a midnight release.
Is this in centre of town?
In the centre of town.
Yeah.
We're in Liverpool.
Yeah.
If people don't know that.
Don't know. Yeah.
So if anyone can picture that strip there.
Yeah.
I missed it by minutes. I think it can't have been that busy because I got there like not long after midnight and they'd already finished it.
As in like they'd closed?
As in they closed. I started wondering whether it had been advertised wrong because all I could find was on Twitter was a small thread of people saying that game was opening.
Oh, okay.
And I think I thought it was a member of staff.
Sorry. You went to a midnight opening. A thought midnight opening.
Yeah, I don't think it
Skyrim remastered. So it wasn't even like the original game.
So I played that to death on 360, and I don't even know what I did because I finished that game so many times, but still kept coming back to it, and I just leveled up things.
Yeah.
Because then it got to a point where I'd start afresh because your character would become so overpowered.
Right.
You could just bare fist walk into...
Like a dragon.
Yeah, just like a couple punches, done. So then I'd start again and grind the way up again. But yeah, this was for the remaster. This was not long ago. 3 years, maybe?
This was yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, is that the only midnight opening you've attempted to get
No,
to?
the other one, I was really disappointed with the other one that sticks in my mind. It was how old would I have been? It was one of my birthdays. I think I was in second year of uni.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Watch Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Because that came out the midnight of my birthday.
Okay.
And we were drinking in Hannah's bar in town. And it kind of got to a point in the night where it was someone else's birthday as well. It was like a group thing. So I slipped off basically at some point in the night to go and get Watch Dogs at the midnight release. And then went back to the flat. You put the disc in. And it was on 360. The install time took so long that we ended up going to bed.
Oh.
So I didn't even play it. And then once I actually did play the game, I don't think I actually finished the whole playthrough because I got really bored of it. Yeah. It was one of those ones that looked great at E3 when they released the footage, and by the time it came out, it just wasn't the same.
No.
It was like a really good concept that was never fully thought out.
I think I think Watch Dogs 2 is possibly better.
Never played it,
but
I was too
bitter.
bored and bitter by the first one.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of these. Like Skyrim, I think epitomizes the type of game that doesn't do it for me. But there are. I mean, I
completely get that.
Yeah, I have played. Have you played Fable?
I really like Fable.
Yeah, I quite like Fable. So, like, I played it once. I wouldn't play it through multiple times.
Yeah, no. To be fair, I don't think I played that multiple. I think I might have done that once or twice, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't do it for me.
No, I get that.
That's fine. Shall I just do my number one?
Yeah, I feel like we know what it is.
What is it?
Well, it's Halo 3.
It's definitely Halo 3, yes.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of doubt. But I think for a different reason than why you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And it's because I played it so competitively to a level that was really competitive. And as we saw when... so me and Ben played a game of Halo, and Ben's like, yeah, I'm pretty good at Halo.
Well, I want to adjust this. I know, and I've already said on the record, I'm not a good Halo player.
Okay.
I was good amongst the friends that didn't play it, basically.
Okay.
We kind of had a resurgence for it in uni in our second year house. There was a few of us. We had a little bit of paper on the wall that was like a Halo leaderboard.
Okay.
And it was when Master Chief Collection had come out.
Right.
In fact, no, it came out halfway through the year because we were playing it on 360, or maybe it had come out and we just hadn't got it. But then we eventually switched over to the Master Chief Collection and carried on this leaderboard.
Was this like you would play 1 versus 1 against people?
Yeah, we would do it'd be just against each other.
Right.
I've never really been into the online playing of it.
Right.
It's more, I've always done split screen. Mm-hmm. But he was like me, that we'd played it years and years ago, not touched it, and then it became a thing that we kind of started again. Mm-hmm. And that was it. So I've only ever played against friends, and I know I'm not good, but I didn't know how good you were.
Yeah.
Like, I think against a casual gamer that doesn't really play it, I'd be good.
Yeah.
And then I'd be okay on an online match, just about.
Yeah, the thing is with online is you play to your level, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Then you climb to a point where you win 50% of your games, you lose 50% of your games, and then like whatever level it is, you seem all right because sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
But you're like a
I played that really competitively. I went to like LANs.
I got destroyed. I think I got 2 kills into your 25, maybe.
Yeah, it was like, and I think one of them I naded myself by accident. Yeah. So, I played that super competitively with my friend Lee. Like the first time I ever came to Liverpool, I came and did a LAN competition in the Echo Arena here.
Right.
And I stayed in. Do you know the youth hostel down the road from here?
Yeah.
Near the McDonald's.
Yeah.
I stayed in there.
Literally just down the road.
Yeah, I stayed in there and then walked to
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so this is like the first time I ever came to Liverpool. And I ended up living next to that youth hostel a few years later, yeah. And we played that really competitively. We... in the winners bracket, we went undefeated only because we got disqualified because we they were like shouting our name over the tannoy and we just didn't hear them because we were playing too much and we lost by default, and the team Dignitas wouldn't play us just for fun, so we were pretty upset, and then we ended up losing. But I mean, we played okay. I wasn't like in the top teams, but that's like the 1% of the 1% were amazing.
Yeah, just the fact that you're even going to them,
LAN,
you're a certain level.
Yeah.
Like, if I went in there, I would be destroyed.
Yeah. We had a few people that were like, there was like a group of 4 lads that thought they were good because they could beat all their friends, and then we like...
See, that's me.
Yeah.
Like, but I know my place.
Yeah. Like, some people were like, oh, they played like game battles online, and it was like, yeah, that's not that competitive. No. Like, there was like a custom game scene, and there was like, if you got in with like some of the top lot, then you were good. I remember playing against Snipe Down, who was like a Halo 3 pro.
Yeah.
It was on Amplified. For those that play Halo 3, you won't know anything about it.
See, this is a lot of my team.
I got literally 0 kills in this game, and I probably laughed for about 20 minutes, and my whole team were like so mad at me.
Yeah.
So it was a game to 50 kills, and we got beaten so bad I didn't get a single kill.
Right. I dread to think what I'd have been like.
Oh god, it was so embarrassing. That's why I just like basically in the lobby afterwards, you could often speak to the other team.
Yeah.
And like all like my friends were like, "Oh, it's Snipe Down. We're gonna like speak to him." And, like this guy is probably like one of the best ever.
Yeah.
And like, oh, we're gonna speak to him. And basically just got into the after lobby, and I just laughed for about 10 minutes, and they couldn't speak to him, and they were so mad at me. Oh, I felt really bad afterwards. But it was that game. It's probably my first introduction to like proper competitive game.
I think this sums up our 2 different playstyles really well.
Yeah.
Because what I got out of that game would be, I think the majority of the time I would have played it was with my cousin Matt, like just in the forge, making maps,
right,
and doing the kind of playthroughs like when you can do zombies, like one of you has the plasma sword, and you
hide and seek kind of thing. Yeah.
Like that was what I got out of it.
Yeah, like you would do Social Slayer and like zombies. And do you ever play Griffball?
Yeah, that I vaguely remember. Warthogs, football type thing. Oh no, Griffball was running with the
hammers and the ball. Yeah, so that's kind of like social side of it. Yeah. Whereas I was like, my playlist of choice was the MLG playlist, and I just played that to death.
Yeah,
and I just played super competitively.
Well, that's our top 5s.
Yes. Do we want to do games we hate?
Yeah, let's. I think I think I said the opposite. I was like, let's do games where we don't get the hype, and games that we hate. Let's just put that in one.
Okay.
I've got a few. Well, I've got 3. Not really games that I hate. I couldn't really think of a game that I just by nature despise.
Right. Let me start. Don't
say Skyrim.
That's that. Not yet. The game that I probably hated the most was. It's going to sound weird, but the Halo Master Chief Collection.
I get this.
So it's not because the game itself was terrible, which it ended up being. Basically, I was I went to the midnight opening and I got a photo taken at game because I was the first person to get it, and they took a photo with me. I got home and I plugged it in, and the update took 2 days. Yeah. So I couldn't play the game for 2 days, so I was already mad at that, and then the whole thing was just broken.
Yep.
So the games didn't start. They were just terrible. Once you did get in a game, you just get kicked out. None of the shots registered. It was just nothing like the game that I'd come to love and play, and it just like ruined it for me.
And it was a broken game.
Yeah,
completely. Because I remember this as well.
It came out rushed, and it came out an absolute mess. Like the one thing that sticks in my mind that makes me remember how terrible it was is that if you won the game, you came first. So it sounds like I would have lisp there, but it's not first. So it would be 1 and then a TH.
Yeah.
So like you've come first. So like, like 5th, 6th, you come first. And like that's just like they didn't even correct that.
No.
That's the level of how terrible that game was. And it like angered me. And it only angers me because I loved Halo 3 so much. And I was like, this is going to be amazing. It brought out like Halo 2 remastered. And I was like, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be a competitive game. And it kind of just stole like my Halo competitive scene. And I've not really played competitive Halo since then because it just died a death.
Because I got it for, again, very different reasons to you.
Yeah.
I got it because I thought maybe I can get into the online gaming side of it.
Right.
Got the game working after the massive updates that needed doing. It's now off my console completely because of that 88 gig update.
Something like that.
I saw that pop up, and I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I just uninstalled it.
Well,
I was like, I'm not.
They only updated it maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That came out like 5 years ago or something like
ridiculous.
that. My life has changed in completely. Like, I've moved house like 4 times. I got a dog. I broke up with my girlfriend who I had a dog with. We no longer. I went and got a PGCE. I became a trained teacher before they updated this game.
It just shouldn't happen.
And it's still not great. Like, I've played it recently, and I do enjoy it much more, but it was never the same.
The one feature I did like was that you could switch between the graphics.
Oh yeah,
seamlessly.
Like Halo.
That was cool.
Yeah, on the Halo. Yeah, we should go through it again on the campaign and see if it actually holds up and we enjoy it. Yeah, you're gonna have to.
If I can.
If you can find the space. You have to go buy a hard drive for it.
On that topic, they released a broken game with Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
This series / game falls almost in my list of top 5, and also in games that not hate, but it's close.
Angered you.
Can you guess it?
As soon as you said it, there's a game that came to my mind.
Go on.
Star Wars Battlefield.
Battlefront?
2?
Battlefront,
yes.
So, Battlefront 2, not the new one, the one that came out years ago. I've not got a date on it.
Oh yeah, the original, on like the PS2.
The original. So, Battlefront 2 on PS2.
Yeah.
One of my favourite games of all time. Like, that was almost number 5.
Yeah.
I just didn't quite put it there.
Yeah.
EA. Like, I don't understand how you can release an unfinished game, basically, for a full price tag and then charge for DLC.
Yeah.
Like, Battlefront 2 was such a good game, like, with the Galactic Conquest mode and everything. It never had the best campaign, but what it had, at least it had a campaign.
Yeah.
When they released Battlefront, the new one, there was no campaign at all, and I'm struggling to remember the number of maps, but I feel like there was 3 or 4 maps.
I think
it was tiny.
Yeah, I think I played the demo, and then I was like, is there any more to this game? And the answer was no. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not buying this game then.
Like, don't get me wrong, visually, it looks great.
Oh, yeah.
And sound-wise, like, they did such a good job. Like, there was one point where I just got it, and I was disappointed there was no campaign, but I did a bit of the online stuff, and I think it was on Endor. There was, like, a point where there was, like, players, I think it's 20 aside, I think it was. There was people going past on the speeder bikes, there was guns going, and it just felt like you were in the film.
Yeah.
Like, they nailed that. But then that was it.
Yeah.
Like, I played a few games and I was like, there's no more to this.
No.
That was just really disappointing.
Yeah, it's probably how I felt about Spider-Man. I'm like, oh, that's enough for me. But for you needed a campaign to make you, like, if you played through
but not even if it was just online, I'd have still been disappointed that it wasn't there.
Yeah.
But there was just so little.
Yeah.
Like,
and then
I hated the whole... Because now with the new one, with the star card system, in fairness, they have rectified bits, but again, that game's been out for best part of a year, maybe now. Not quite. It's been a while though, and they're still bringing out game-changing updates.
Yeah,
which fair play that they're doing it, but it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, they only did it because of the backlash from the community, really.
So maybe third time's a charm with that one.
Yeah, it's just
I'm slowly losing faith in it though. Like the first one, it was a midnight release job again. I went and got it first thing. And like when that game booted up with the theme tunes on, like it just... I was so excited. Yeah. And then again, that made the disappointment so much worse because I was expecting... It wasn't that my hype was at unreachable levels. Yeah. Spider-Man, the hype was at unreachable levels and it pretty much delivered. Yeah.
I think if that game had like come and been unplayable, I think it would crushed you.
Yeah, I think it would.
Yeah,
but just EA, get your shit together.
That should be the slogan for them.
Yeah. Anyway,
what games are you playing at the moment? Then, what's your current go-to game?
I have just, as I mentioned, 100%ed Spider-Man in every conceivable way. There's nothing more I can do, but there's DLC coming out, so I'm going to carry on that soon. Red Dead 2, that's coming up soon. Yeah. I know I'm not playing that now. No. Will be soon. There's actually no games other than the one that we have been playing.
Yep.
I've just realised we've not spoken about that.
Not at all.
At all.
No.
Should we talk about that now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we play Enter the Gungeon,
Yeah.
which is a 2-stick shooter with rogue-like elements. And it's basically a very difficult game that's got co-op that I got Ben into. And we've just been playing it ever since, really. Just like couch co-op, really enjoying it. We want to beat the game.
Yep. You kind of have.
I have beaten the game, yes, on the Switch. The Switch is quite good because it's like I can play it in like a 20-minute stretch and then put it down, and it saves it. And I can kind of come back to it and play it whenever, because it has like that stop and start feature. Whereas like if you're playing it on the PS4 or the Xbox or something like that, then that's the only game you play and you can't really turn it off.
Yeah. And I feel you can play tactically. It's more your kind of game in theory.
Yeah.
Because I'd say I'm out the two of us on that game. I am the poorer player.
Okay.
There are times when one of us, I may occasionally be playing better, but consistently you are the better player.
Yeah.
So I think like you can tactically think in a game like that, whereas I'll panic on a lot of things.
Right, yeah.
Just simple things that I shouldn't slip up on, but I do.
Yeah.
Like I'll walk into a room and I know that on this level, like drops will appear.
Yeah.
I'll just walk straight down a drop.
Yeah.
Or I'll dodge, whereas I should be like moving against a bullet, I'll dodge with it.
Yeah.
So I'll move away from it and then land where it's going.
Yeah. It's like the classic of a tree's falling down and you run.
Yeah. I'll like
away
run
from
with I'll run with the path of it. So I'll just land on it further down. That's me on this game.
And I'm like moving to the side.
Yeah.
And the other one the other day was I was like, watch out for the gap. He just ran in straight down the hole.
Just remembered another one. There's barrels in this game that you can shoot and they'll explode. We'd cleared a room completely. There was no threat. And James was stood next to a barrel. I shot said barrel, took a life off him.
Yeah, nearly died. It was great. Wouldn't recommend it.
No. You got me back later in the level, I think. I don't know whether it was intentional or not. No, I feel like it was intentional.
No comment. No. So honourable mentions. What honourable mentions have you got, Ben?
Have you got any? I know I've listed quite a few, but
one game that I have got honourable mention for, and it's more personal reason why, is, so do you know the game Trials HD?
Yeah. Motorbike
one. The motorbike one.
Yeah.
So I was quite an angry teenager kind of person. And I want to say that this game helped me sort my anger out because it's so frustrating that you can't be angry at it. Like, you can't beat that game and be angry because it's got, like, you have to be, like, slow and patient and, like, it's a bit nuanced to it. If you are just trying to anger and punch your way through it, you can't do it.
Yeah.
So this would be so frustrating that it kind of was like, it's like, you know, when you have a fear and it's like the get over that fear is like, oh, I'm scared of, I don't know, rubber ducks, and they just throw you in a room full of rubber ducks and it just like immerses you in it, and then you come out the other side and like, well, it wasn't that bad. I think that was the same thing with me, is that this game made me so angry. I reached a point where I was like, I got like an inner calm, and now I'm much more calm because of that. I think that's my honorable. Yeah. So I remember playing it with other friends, and I'd be like, you got to feather the throttle, so you can like feather it. And I'm like, you got feather, you got to feather it. You're like, I'm not fucking feathering it anymore. And just like, they would get angry with it. I'm like, well, okay, well, we need to not play that anymore. Go on, what is your...
Well, I've got a lot. I'm just going to go through very quickly because we'd be here
all
for
week.
So long. Myst. Have you ever heard of them?
Are they a company or is that a game?
It's a game. It's a series where the one that I played, it was PC, and it was a weird hybrid, at least in the later games, of they'd filmed actual scenes.
Okay.
And then put it into this kind of point and click game. So it was very much solving puzzles.
Okay.
But the premise was, on the first one at least, was you wake up on this island. You're the only person on this island.
Okay.
But there's obviously bean people there. Like, there's rooms that you go into.
There's obviously bean people. I thought you meant like baked bean people. Just like running around.
Sorry, people have been there.
Yeah,
not there's been people there.
Like green beans? Runner beans.
Right.
Soybeans.
So, you walk into like these rooms and there's various like... There's technology there. Like, there's a point where you can kind of like... you find a generator, and there's clues that you have to find to turn that generator on. And then once you've got the electricity running, there's certain things you can do in other rooms that unlock things.
What's this called? Sorry,
Myst, but it's spelled MYST.
Okay.
So it was very puzzle based, and I think I was slightly too young to play it. But then as I got older, I kind of worked out how to actually play it. Like to start with, I'd just walk around the island, and I was just fascinated with just the images. They're great.
Okay,
that was about it.
Right.
Puzzle game, good fun. These almost made it into my list as well. Harry Potter. I'm a big fan of the books and films and everything. The first 3 PC games specifically, those games are great up to the 3rd one. After that, it just very much became... I think they're objectively probably not great games. They just had a charm to them. Yeah. And then post 4 onwards, like no thought was given to those games. No. Like they were terrible.
Do you think you had just gotten to a stage where you become
I did think this, but no, like I actually went through and like I think it was the Deathly Hallows game that they did. It was basically like Card with Wands, but if they'd only given like Card a couple of hours of development.
Right.
Like it was one mission repeated with just different scenery basically.
Wow.
Like the mechanics were like it was bad.
Yeah.
Like at least with the first ones, they're older games, so I don't think they'd hold up now really. But like there was variation, and there was like broomstick levels where I remember this distinctly, like because I was young enough that like my mum would play a little bit with me because I'd do the broomstick levels because she was terrible at them.
Right.
And I was good at that bit. And because I was young, I must have been like 6 or 7.
Okay.
There was a level where you'd have to sneak through at night, and Filch would be like patrolling.
Yeah.
And I'd be too scared of getting caught by Filch.
Yeah.
So then my mum would play those levels for me, and then I'd take the game back.
Oh.
But I've a lot of love for those games. Yeah. There's only one other one I've not mentioned, Guitar Hero 3.
Okay, yeah.
That partially is the reason I'm doing the job I do now with music. That kind of not got me into guitar, because I think it was just everything guitar based. When I was learning guitar, I loved.
Yeah.
And like it was nothing like playing guitar.
No.
But just the fact it was about guitar.
Yeah.
Like was just appealing.
Have you tried the new one?
No, I can't remember where. Was it World Tour?
I've got it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'd even enjoy it now.
I think I've got the guitar at mine. I'll bring it over so you can see
do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
But I've only got one, so it's like
take it in turns.
One game that I've not mentioned that I play a lot at the moment is Overwatch.
I was going to say, I was surprised that wasn't in your...
Yeah, I like Overwatch, but it just as a competitive game hasn't gripped me in the same way that Halo, League of Legends, COD 4 possibly, that kind of stuff. It's never grips me in the same way. Yeah. Like I can give or take it. Yeah. Like if it gripped me in the same way, we wouldn't be here right now. I'd be back at the flat playing it until a point where Annie comes home and kills me. Yeah. But I do enjoy that game. But I enjoy it more of a social thing. Like I'll play with my friends. Yeah. Rather than just on its own. Yeah. Well, I think that's it. I think really RuneScape should have been number 1 on both of our lists. I did enjoy a bit of RuneScape.